All right, so welcome to day 27. In this one, we are going to be using an API service called Twilio to send SMS text messages. That is, we can actually send text messages using Python to pretty much any phone that's out there. Now, Twilio is not a free service to actually do this, so keep that in mind when you're going about this. But if you are willing to pay for their service, which is not really that expensive for what it does, then you can absolutely go through this. This is just another example of another API that is very useful that we are going to show you how to implement. There is more advanced usage to what we're about to do, but we wanted to show you at least the basics, that is being able to send a message and receive data about that message. So that's what we're going to be doing. So what you need to do is go to twilio.com and sign up for your free API key, or basically you're going to be signing up for a free account. The way this looks might change over time, but that's essentially what you'll be doing, is getting a free account because we need our API keys just like we've done before. And those API keys are going to be handling our requests. So after you sign up for an account, you'll see something like the dashboard here. So that's actually where you'll start off, is this console after you sign up and you verify a phone number. So if you haven't verified a phone number, definitely click on the little three dots here for all products and services and go to phone numbers. You can even pin it in. If you click on this little pin button, it will pin it on the side console there. And you can actually get phone numbers. So this is the phone number we're going to be working with. And yeah, that phone number will actually work. We are still on a demo account, so if you called it or sent it a text message, it's probably not going to do a whole lot. But at the very least, that number does exist now. So we've got that number, and then the next thing that we're going to be working in is the programmable SMS. So make sure you have that pinned, because that is the other side of things that we'll be doing. As you may notice, the API has a lot of other things that you can do with it. But we're just going to be working off of that programmable SMS as well as those phone numbers. Another nice thing about this is, as far as our phone numbers is concerned, you can have multiple phone numbers. Like we have our one right now, but you can add several of them, and I believe it has mostly global support. Probably not everywhere, but generally global support. Now, one of the things that you'll have to do to get this phone number is to verify it with your own phone number, right? So it's got to have some sort of verification process for that. And what we ended up doing for America, or the United States, you can use Google Voice as that phone number. That's something that we did. We actually started with a normal cell phone number, and then we added it into a Google Voice number and made that change. But from the get-go, you can probably use a Google Voice number. And we're going to be using that Hungry Pie email address like we've seen before. That's what's associated to this Google Voice number. So we can see the text messages in two places, that is on our email as well as on Google Voice. So by the time you're watching this, hopefully none of these things will change. They should all stay pretty relevant as they have been for years. If there's major changes, please let us know, because we will want to update this video, or at least this series. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to look into the docs, into the API reference. So let's just click on API docs, and what this will do is it's going to open up right into this API reference here. This is what we'll be using for this one. Right off the bat, we're not going to be using their built-in SDK. We're actually going to write using Python requests to just handle their standard HTTP requests and do it that way versus doing it any other way. So what we want to do now is you can click on product here and click on SMS, and that's going to show us this Twilio REST API here. So send and SMS and MMS messages. So that is a regular text message or a multimedia message, which is like an image message. So if you send an image or a video, this is what you would end up doing. So let's go ahead and click on that send SMS. And this, of course, is the URL that we're going to end up going to. But before we jump to that URL, let's actually click on Twilio REST API here. And this is what we're going to be doing. So we need our base URL, and we're going to be using our account SID and our auth token. So those are the things that we'll work towards. But even before that, we want to make sure that we have Python requests installed on our computer. They should work in virtual environment, or excuse me, it should work with Python 3 as well as Python 2, just the same. So it doesn't really matter what version of Python you're using, because we're not going to really divert from that at all. Okay, so to get this started, let's go ahead and open up Terminal or your command prompt, depending on what system you're on. And we are in the desktop already. So I'm going to make a new virtual environment. And I'm going to use the Python version 3 with -p and Python 3. And then we'll name our virtual environment. In this case, I'm going to call it SMS. And then I'm going to change into SMS. So the virtual environment of SMS. We're just calling it SMS because that's the text message thing that we're building here. So if we list everything out, you should see the virtual environment related stuff depending on what system you're on. And of course, I'm going to activate it. So source bin/activate. And of course, that's on Mac and Linux. And then if you're on Windows, it'd be something more like scripts/activate. Hopefully you know this by now, but if you don't, those are the quick shortcuts to that. And of course, that also requires that you went through the setup process and all that. Okay, so now that we've got this, we want to make sure that we have requests installed by doing pip install requests. And this is going to download and install the request library, so we can go ahead and use that. Okay, great. So now we've got some stuff. We've got the kind of the basics set up and ready. We have our number that we're going to text and our actual Twilio number that we're going to be texting from. So we'll see this in just a second. So let's go ahead and jump in to Twilio now. Let's go back into our Twilio REST API page, and that's twilio.com docs/API/REST. And this is our base URL. So we're going to go ahead and copy this, and let's put it down here. And I'll say base URL equals to that. Well, there's one more aspect to it that really makes it our base, and that is adding accounts. So if we save that, you can actually see down here that the next one actually has accounts written in it. You don't have to worry about the curl call or anything like that right now, but that's essentially what we're going to be going off of. This is going to be a GET call, so it's actually going to do some HTTP stuff for us, but you'll notice that it says HTTP basic authentication. Now, Python request has a shortcut for that, and that's this right here. So we can now set up our auth saying auth equals to, and well, we need our username and password. Well, we need to figure out what those things are, so that's what we'll do and pick it up right from where we left off in the next one.